Hello and welcome to week 7 of the NISOA stimulus program funded by the Foundation Fund. Thank you for joining us and welcome. We've got a couple of announcements before we get started today. So if you haven't heard yet, we are hiring at NISOA. We talked a little bit about the roles last week, but we're super excited. So if you enjoy coding, APIs, and have a love for responsive designs, please inquire online about our website manager position. We also have an open communications manager position, and these positions are going to help us elevate our work to the next level. So imagine this, just better. So if you're interested, please check out those postings online. We've had a handful of really great applicants, so we're excited about that. So please check those out. We'll probably keep them open for another week or two before we start the next phase of that application process. Some of you may have heard the NCAA has approved training for some fall sports, including football. Another positive signal for us as we look ahead to the fall. However, NCAA D2 did announce a slight reduction in the maximum number of games for 2020, reducing from 18 to 14, and also reduction required game counts in order to qualify for postseason. We'll continue to keep you guys posted as the details unfold. As you know, this is a very fluid situation. We'll continue to push information through our social media, so if you don't follow us on Twitter or Facebook, please do, and any live comms that we have, such as this series. Lastly, the NISOA summer programs have moved online, and we are working to finalize those details of those virtual clinics. So please stay tuned. A list of those events that will be happening in June, July, and August will be distributed very shortly, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And we may potentially have a continuation of this program. We've gotten a lot of positive response from you guys, which is great. You seem to really enjoy the live dialogue as well as the video analysis. I'd like to attribute it not to me, but to all the amazing guests that we've had, including the one today, which I'm excited to announce here shortly. But we may have a continuation of this program, so keep tuned for that in the future. More to come. So let's dive into the participation from this week, which topic was spa and dogso. So Doug, if you can show us the participate. Thank you. We had a total of 614 of you guys join us, which was fabulous. A little bit of an increase from prior week, which is great. We also had a total of 4,466 submissions so far, meaning we've got a lot of you guys taking this quiz. So thank you so much. It's a lot of work behind the scenes to make this happen, and we're thrilled to see so many of you guys taking part of it. We also have the average and median a little bit increased from last week, which shows us a little bit more consistency in this topic, which is great because this can be a very challenging topic for us on the field. So excited to see more consistency on this topic. We did have 32 members make the Wall of Champions, so congratulations to those members. Doug, if you can show us the Wall of Champions for this week. All 32 of you guys received 100% on this week's quiz, so congratulations. A handful of familiar faces there, so congratulations for the week over week Wall of Champions as well. And we have a wonderful surprise at the end of the show. We'll bring in another member of the NISOA family who has great talents to help introduce these winners. So stay tuned till the end of the show for that. And then the clips we're going to be reviewing today, we're going to look at 3 of them. So Doug, if you can show that slide that shows those analysis, we're going to look at clip 2, clip 7, and clip 9. Clip 2, we're going to look at the placement of the foul, the type, and why it's a red card. Clip 7, we're going to look at spa and why it's not dogso. And clip 9, we're going to focus on the spa yellow card and better understanding there. So as you guys may have heard, we have a very special guest with us this week. I'm with esteemed company, and it gives me great privilege to welcome the man, the myth, the legend, Howard Webb. Welcome.
Hi, Tori. Great to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Absolutely. Thanks for taking the time out. I'm sure you've had a very busy week with rumors of MLS and NWSL returning to the pitch. So thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule.
Yeah, it's busy. We're getting close to the field. Not there yet, but you know, we've seen the Bundesliga start up recently, and we're hoping that we're not too far away ourselves, and it can't come too soon.
Absolutely. And for those of you who maybe have never watched a game outside of our borders, let me share with you a little bit of who Howard Webb is. So you might see his very lengthy title card there underneath him, but currently he is the pro general manager, which means he leads all of MLS and professional referees in the US. But you don't earn that title by just having any kind of resume on the field. He has quite a lengthy one, including 2 times World Cup referee, including the 2010 final and the UEFA Championship League final referee as well. And from what I understand, it's a bit of an anniversary for you. Is that correct? Sounds like 10 years ago today, you were busy. You were a very busy man doing the anniversary, right, of the Champions League final?
Yeah. Around about this time, 10 years ago, I was just about blowing the final whistle at the Champions League final between Inter Milan and Bayern Munich in Madrid. So probably the highlight of my career. Great memories of that. It doesn't seem like 10 years ago. My hair's the same. I've got a few more wrinkles, but yeah, great memories.
Fabulous. We'll try and make some good ones today too for you. Also, looking up your bio, I understand you even had a couple of years as an AR in the Premier League. Is that correct?
I did, yeah. 1998 to 2000, I was on the Premier League assistant referees list. I did 32 games. I'm not sure how it quite happened, really. I wasn't the best assistant in the world. I worked hard, but I think I was quite lucky, really. But I learned an awful lot from watching some of the referees that I worked with. I mean, it was a great learning experience. Yeah, I took a lot on board during those 2 years, hoping that the ball would stay at the other end of the field most of the time. But yeah, a really great opportunity to learn.
Very cool. If I had known that, we would have brought you on for the offside clips, but I didn't realize that. So no, okay. Very fair. Well, without further ado, let's dive right into it. So we've got, the topic was DOGSO and SPA, so maybe you can help ground us a little bit in the definitions and the differences between the two. So Doug, if you can show that slide for us. If you can, perfect. Thank you. Howard, take it away.
Yeah, great. And by the way, sorry, these are great sessions. I've been watching the ones previously, and you guys do a great job with this. So congratulations, and I'm pleased to be a part of it this week. So obviously, you've been looking at SPA and DOGSO in the clips that have been sort of like, looked at by your group, and these are important because a lot of feedback that we get from coaches and owners relate to consistency and relate to offences around stopping promising attacks and DOGSO because they're important. They are the offences that deny either obvious chances to score or can really interfere with the flow of the game. So if we look at SPA first, what is SPA? SPA stands for stopping a promising attack. It's a foul basically which stops a good attacking opportunity for a team. We used to call them tactical fouls, and they're the ones where clearly one team is out of balance, one team is breaking away quite often with a counter attack, not always, but quite often moving into space. The player with the ball has got options. Either options to find a colleague or options to go forward themselves and shoot. But if it's a SPA and not a DOGSO, it's not yet at the level of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. So the criteria for SPA is not as tight as it is around DOGSO. So we're looking for what's the general direction, what's the distance from the goal, where are the other players around, does the player with the ball have space and options as they move forward. But you have to consider that not all of these are really rigid. For example, it might be that the distance from goal is quite a long way, but it could still be SPA because all of the opponents have gone forward for maybe a corner or something similar. They're all out of position. The team's way out of balance, and there's a counter-attack taking place, and it gets stopped, before it can even start in a defensive third for the team that's breaking away. But it's still SPA because that player's got options, that player's got space, that player is moving away at pace. The defenders are, nowhere to be seen. And so, the place on the field isn't so crucial with SPA. It's about options and space and where are the other opposing players that can prevent that attack. So they're the considerations for SPA. For DOGSO, it's tighter. For DOGSO, we want to look for 4 really distinct features. And we've managed to squeeze in these 4Ds, haven't we? It's a little bit creative, but they do tend to fit. So one is the distance from the goal. How close is the attacking player when they're impeded, or where does the handball take place in terms of distance to the goal? I've talked earlier about you can still have a SPA that's a long way from goal. It's difficult to have a DOGSO that's that's a long way. In your own half, you don't see many red cards for DOGSO when the foul takes place in your own half. So that's one consideration. Next one is the general direction. So it has to be going generally towards the goal. It doesn't mean it has to be going directly to goal. It can be going slightly away. For example, a player might move the ball left slightly away from goal to get around the goalkeeper, and then he's brought down. That's still in the general direction of goal, but not going out towards the touchline, not going towards the goal line near the corner flag, for example. Then we've got the creative D, which is the distance to the ball, the likelihood of controlling the ball. If the attacking player is never going to maintain or keep or gain control of the ball, then they can't score a goal, can they? So it's not going to be a dog-so in that situation when there's genuine doubt about that. And then the last one is location of defenders. You have to look at where the other defenders are. Could the defenders, prevent that obvious goal-scoring opportunity? And a really key element of dog-so is taking the snapshot at the right time. It's taking the picture when the offence happens, because the game can change really quickly. The mind normally takes a little bit of time to work things out, so you've got to think about what could happen before it does, and then at the moment that it does, take the snapshot there, because if you think about it, then the players are going to move, and suddenly you fool yourself into thinking it wasn't an obvious goal-scoring opportunity, when actually when the offence occurred, it was. So anticipation is really important. Reading the play, reading the players' intentions, before a ball is played, a long ball is played over the top, for example, you can see the body shape of the player, you can see the reaction of the other players who are moving to receive that ball. Don't be a spectator. Don't watch what's happening where the ball is. That's for the fans to do. You're there to read the play, to think about the next step, to move before the ball goes, so that you're in best shape, best place to make a decision, without being caught so far away, and then anticipate what can happen as it's playing. I used to, when I was refereeing, on a counter attack, I'd think, okay, it's yellow, now it's red, now it's red, now it's back to yellow, because the position's moved. Just in case a foul happened, I'd got that already in my mind, so that I could be ready to take the decision. So they're the differentials, really. So we're going to go to clip number 2 first, aren't we? And we're going to see where we think this one comes out, and also, there was obviously some differences of opinion. So we go to this one. We see the white team is attacking. The referee is some distance away. Maybe a little bit more anticipation would have been good, but then also, don't forget, you've got to explode. You've really got to put the foot down and really explode through that midfield area to open up your viewing angle, because if you don't do that, you're going to be looking from behind. You're not creating those angles. So anticipate before the play happens. You can't always do that. Sometimes players do something which takes you by surprise. They lose the ball unexpectedly, or there's a really poor misplaced pass that puts you way out of position, and you've just got to use your physical ability to explode. But if you can combine, cognitive skills before it happens, then with the explosion, you're likely to get into a better position. So here we see the referee some distance away, looking from behind. Of course, the referee has got a pretty poor angle there in terms of determining whether that offence takes place inside or outside the penalty area, and has to rely on the assistant referee who's looking right across the line. So if we just pause it on the moment of the offence, okay, so let's look at this and decide, is this an offence first of all? Well, yeah, we can see that there's a holding offence there from the red defender. The red defender knows the danger, knows that player can't be allowed to get away. If they do, then the ball's there. You can see that the ball's close to the attacker, and it's in a really dangerous spot. There's no other defenders nearby. The goalkeeper is still further towards the goal, so that the defender pulls. And the defender pulls before getting into the penalty area, which is crucial, because they know they're going to give away a free kick and not a penalty kick. So we're looking for a direct free kick here. And a little bit of a tip as well, I would suggest that if you've got genuine doubt about inside or outside, and players fall into the penalty area, and you really, you know it's a foul, you blow the whistle, but you don't know what the next step is. Okay, the assistant is the first port of call. The assistant is the person you're going to look to, because they're probably going to be in a much better position. But even the assistant might not know the answer all the time. If you genuinely, as a team, don't know the next decision, always go outside. Because in my experience, when players fall into the penalty area at pace and it's close, when I've watched it back, it's usually happened outside. So if you've got doubt on that second part of the decision, give it outside. In this situation, we're quite fortunate because the assistant referee is in a really good position looking across. So the referee can identify the foul and hit the whistle, take that snapshot now. Where's the ball? It's close. Where's the other defenders? Not close. Is it going towards goal? Yes. Is it close to goal? Yes. The 4 ticks are in place for dog-so here. And therefore, that player, that white attacking player, has been denied an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. The next decision, though, is where's the restart going to be? And you're going to look over to the assistant who's going to assist the referee to make that decision, either via a communication kit, but also importantly, never forget the importance of doing the basics right. The assistant referee is going to stop, and then move back up the field to in line with the top of the penalty area and give a direct free kick signal if necessary. Just one last thing to say about this. So we've said it's a direct free kick outside the penalty area. We've said it's DOGSO. In this situation, because this is a holding offence, even if this had happened inside the penalty area, you'd still be looking at a red card. The player is not protected by the change to the law. This is not a genuine attempt to play the ball. It's an attempt to stop the attacking player. So even if that offence did take place in the penalty area, it would still be a red card. The only difference would be it would be a penalty kick. So key things here: anticipation, read the play before it goes, burst with explosive power through that midfield area to open up the viewing angle, make a decision about foul or no foul. If you don't know inside or outside, obviously you're going to look at the assistant referee. They're going to help you use that teamwork. If both of you don't know, then go outside, and then having taken a snapshot, you know the 4 Ds are in place, and you're going to send the player off for DOGSO.
Absolutely perfect. Thank you so much. What a great analysis of that. Can we see the results, Doug? Thank you. So as you can see, a number of us had inside the area. So it's really critical, as Howard had alluded to, as far as that snapshot, taking that picture. And you can see the defender let's go just before the penalty line there. So that's important as far as deciding if it's in or out. And the red card, as Howard had talked about, irregardless of if it's in or out, is expected a DOGSO because of the nature of the foul, which is holding. So hopefully we have clarity on this clip moving forward. And let's go ahead and jump into the next one.
Okay, so clip number 7, this one, yeah. So here again, we see the need to anticipate. The white attacking player reads the play, reads the long ball, and starts to move really early. So as a ref, you've got to read that. You've got to think, I've got to get on my bike here and move and give myself a chance to be close to play and use the explosion to get there, and not be suddenly, from being 5 yards away from the ball, suddenly you're 45 yards away and probably making a guess. A bit of a tricky situation, this one, isn't it? Because, you know, when goalkeepers come so far out, you know, a lot of lay people would say, oh, it's going to be a red card, the keeper's come out. Not always the case, because the 4 elements of DOGSO have to be in place still. And, you know, if the keeper is out with the penalty area, it doesn't automatically mean that it's a red card. So here we see the attacking player get to the ball first, which is quite important, and gets a touch on the ball, knocking it along the ground. Not a great touch on the ball before the foul happens. Okay, you could say, well, that happens because the goalkeeper comes out and, you know, the attacking player has to get a touch. Well, you know, the goalkeeper's allowed to come out, you know, and close down some space. The foul only happens after the touch on the ball has happened. And one of the things we used to say in determining DOGSO was, if you take away that offending player, not, you know, just take the defending player out who's committed the foul, once the foul has been committed, you know, has the attacking player an obvious goal scoring opportunity? And the key thing here is that the answer is no, because the touch on the ball knocks it towards those defending players. If you look at the defender on this side, coming back at real pace, a lot more pace than the attacking player, and as a consequence, the favourites to get the ball there are the defenders. Could the white player still get there? Maybe, you never know. Could it still be a promising attack? Yes. Is there a sense of fairness around this? No. So you really want to be pulling out a card of some colour. Is it a reckless foul challenge? It's difficult to see the type of contact, really. We'd probably think not, but it could be borderline. But you'd want to be pulling out a yellow card at least for a spar here. But there's some doubt about that element of control of the ball, distance from the ball, as we called it on the slide. Direction towards the goal, yes. Distance from the goal, some distance, but there's nobody there. Defenders, they're there as well, so a couple of the Ds are missing there. The defenders are there. If the defenders weren't there, imagine a big hand takes those 2 defenders out of the play. Then you'd be looking at a red card, of course. Of course you would. But in this case, they are there. They're coming back at pace. They're going to get to that ball first. The touch on the ball happens before any foul, and therefore we don't think this is a red card. I understand why some people might have gone red, keeper a long way out. Yeah, it's got that bit of a smell of being really not very fair, but the criteria doesn't fit for red, so we feel there should be a direct free kick and a yellow card, Tory.
Wonderful. Spot on. Doug, can we see the analysis on that? Perfect. Thanks so much. So what we can see here is we did have a direct free kick was the general consensus there, which is good. We did have a handful of people that said no foul, so just being aware of the contact there and expecting that, as Howard said, and anticipating that goalkeeper coming out and to make a tackle like this. And then the biggest split was in the yellow card, red card, and Howard did a great job of talking through that and what may or may not constitute the red card there. Take those defenders out and you have a great likelihood there, right? Something else to note, we did have a couple of people have no card, 65 people actually, and it's important to note that, generally speaking, anytime a goalkeeper comes out of their area that much and commits a foul, it's likely going to be a card there. So that's important to note as well. So let's go ahead and dive into the third and final clip.
Yeah, absolutely. Clip number 9. Just on that final point, by the way, it's an interesting point. Sometimes as a referee, yes, you look for criteria, you look for consistency, but also you just have to read the game as well. And if there's a real sense of injustice, if you're thinking, I'm struggling to make this criteria fit, it's borderline, just read the management of the game. Sometimes you pull a yellow card out because it just feels like the right thing to do in that moment for the balance and for the justice within the game, if you like. You're not making it up, of course, with this criteria to fit. But if it's borderline and you're thinking, is that spar or not? If it's just outside the penalty area and the players let go, but the defender knows what they're doing, it might be right to think, yes, it's borderline, I'm going to tip towards yellow because it feels like the right thing. And it kind of like segues into clip number 9 a little bit, because here we have an attack by, I think, the team in purple. The referee, or blue, the referee does a reasonable job here. The play break builds up fairly slowly, but you see the referee moving in the right direction, fairly close, not going too crazy. The number 5 tries to impede the attacking player, doesn't succeed. The referee quite rightly allows that to continue, because imagine a whistle goes too early there and then the attacking player continues into that space that they've got ahead of them. Suddenly, the referees prevented themselves a promising attack in that case. So absolutely the referee's right to continue. Always be a little bit careful if that's a holding offence, that you could see an arm coming out, you could see a reaction by the number 9 in this case. Just be mindful, if the game's really heated, don't allow too much advantage. Don't give players an opportunity to suddenly create a big situation with a flailing arm or something worse. But in this situation, when we pause it at the moment of the actual foul, well, first of all, let's say, is it a foul? We think it is. Number 5 is never really in position to make a fair challenge here. Number 9 is ahead, got position on the ball. Number 5 makes an unfair barge from behind on number 9. Does that before entering the penalty area. At the moment when the offence takes place, now let's look, the referee's in a great position. Now let's look at, is it inside or outside? Well, it's quite clearly outside. The contact's already stopped there and the defender's not yet in the penalty area. The referee's in a good spot to see that. You'd expect the referee to be the person making that decision. And then what are we looking at? Are we looking at a spar or a dog-so? Well, we're not looking at a dog-so, are we? Because we've got an attacking player who's slightly wide of goal. We've got another defender coming across at pace who's going to interfere with a potential shot. And actually, the attacking player is not in the motion of shooting at that point. It's going to be a really good shot from there to beat the goalkeeper as well. So, we're pretty much short of dog-so there for a number of reasons. So is it a spar? Does the player have some space to still move into? Yes. Do they have options? Yes, she's got an option to shoot from still a dangerous position, even if it's not obvious, and also a supporting colleague well advanced up the field in the penalty area who might be able to take advantage of a little pass inside there. So again, here we are. This is a spar situation for the reasons that we've talked about. Good attacking position, some space ahead, supporting cast of colleagues moving up, and an opportunity to shoot themselves, albeit not for an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. So direct free kick and yellow card in this situation. And again, the sense of justice here, that player's been moving, travelling with the ball for some distance. Number 5's been trying to stop her earlier, didn't get a chance. then does succeed, does it outside the penalty area. So, I think that player has worked hard for the yellow card, and don't disappoint a player. I was always told, don't disappoint players. If they're going to expect a card, make sure they get one. And I'm sure that number 5 here thinks, it was probably a well-deserved yellow card here, because I've tried to stop her there, and I'm going to do it there before she gets into the penalty area. So a yellow card for Spa. Just one other point, by the way, if this happens actually in the penalty area, the way that obviously we know about the yellow cards for Spa being taken away if it's in the penalty area, in the same way that dogs or red cards are taken down to yellow if it's in the penalty area, we try, particularly in pro, we try to advocate for our referees, if they've got doubt about whether it was a genuine attempt for the ball or not, to go on the low side. If a player is really working hard to get into a position and trying to put the foot across to make a challenge, if it's just clumsy, then we would say, if you've got doubt, go low. The lawmakers have given us that opportunity. Kind of save the red card for dogs in the penalty area for those situations where, there's a real kind of cynicalness to the offence. The player, the defender, clearly pulls somebody back to stop the attack, or clearly pushes somebody, or clearly handles the ball, any handling the ball. But, we want to save it for those really unfair situations, rather than a player that's genuinely trying to get back to make a decision, to make a challenge. The attacking team have still got their penalty kick. They're still in a good place. So if you've got doubt, we would always say just go one low rather than going high. So this one's outside the penalty area, so it doesn't matter. So we would say here, direct free kick and yellow card.
Wonderful. Fantastic analysis. Thank you so much, Howard. And looking at this one, as Howard alluded to, this is really a classic Spa situation, right? Where she's beat several defenders, has position, and she heads into the penalty area with speed, right? This is a classic, if I will call it that, promising attack. So that's why you see the expected Spa yellow card there. We did have a handful of you had no card there, so hopefully we've cleared that up and what's expected there as far as a Spa yellow card. And I think the cynical nature or the sense of injustice, as you talked about, Howard, I think is really clear here, right? That attacker was headed into goal and this defender took that opportunity away. So hopefully we can start to feel that a little bit more on the pitch and in videos as well. So thank you for that, Howard. We have a couple bonus clips if you've got a few minutes, Howard, and you'd like to join us.
Yeah, I'm going nowhere. I'm stuck in this apartment for the last 10 weeks.
It's not often that we have a World Cup referee on the show. And so we figured we'd bring in a couple of bonus clips just for you that you can help us break down and analyze for our 5,000 members, if you will. Doug, can you pull up those special clips for us? This might look familiar.
Simulation.
Is this spa? Is this violent behavior, fighting, simulation, all of the above? What do you got?
A yellow card for Peter Crouch for asking for a yellow card. That's scandalous. Just in case people think I've gone crazy, this was a kind of like what we call a testimonial game for a Tottenham player called Ledley King, a bit of a legend, and the game got a bit boring in the second half. So one of the players said, I'm going to pass the ball to you, and I think you ought to do something with it. So I actually dropped my shoulder really well, I thought, and then Lewis Holtby, I could hear him coming, boom, 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 behind me, and then genuinely, Troy, it felt like he'd cut me in half. Really, it did. When I look back, it looks like I absolutely flopped. It looked like a total dive, but it was all in good fun.
Hopefully, it gave you a little impetus for the player. But wait, there's more. We've got another one.
That is the worst push I've ever seen in my life.
Not to the ground. So obviously, there was some force there. We'd want to.
I think it's embarrassment. I've gone red.
That's wonderful. So we've got another one. If you can show that one, Doug. And here, I believe the referee awards dog. So if I'm correct.
This was in a place called Barnsley in the north of England. I was refereeing a game, an end of season charity game, and one of the players, these Rolex pros, said to me, "Do you fancy playing an Al ref?" So I said, "Yeah, I'd love to." And I said, "But you've got to give me a penalty." I said, "I'm going to go down in the area, give me a penalty. I'm going to take it." And I said, "Great." So I went down. He gave me the penalty, and the goalkeeper's a friend of mine. Actually, he's an actor on TV. He was like semi-celebrities. And I said, "Which way are you going to go?" So he said, "Left." And as I stepped back, I thought, "Does he mean my left or his left?" So I just hit it down the middle, right? And he saved it with his toe. So then I think this is what happened on this first one. He saves it, yeah, and then his foot. And then so I said to the ref, there was encroachment. Exactly. I said it's a retake. So
It's a
I hope
retake.
you've got the retake, Doug. I hope you've got the retake, because the retake was a piece of classic Panenka. And,
Right.
it just shows that I was lost to the game going down the refereeing route. I should have been playing, because I even told him it's a yellow card, by the way, for encroachment off the line. I said,
Don't leave disappointed.
So yeah, he did the right job there. And I thought, okay, forget going down the middle here. I'm gonna chip it into the top right hand corner, and as you will see, success.
Well done. We had to show the positive actual making of the penalty. As an honorary member of the NISOA family, now that you are, we had to make sure we left it on a positive note. So thanks for enjoying on some fun there.
Give me a boost. Great stuff.
Even a kiss for good luck. I love it. Fantastic. Well, thank you, Howard. A couple more updates from our team. We have some shout outs for the team that's helped put this program together. So Doug and Team Lena, thank you guys so much for all of your hard work helping us make this production work week after week. Thank you guys. There they are in the truck. Lance and Kahan, a big shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for your help with the analysis and making sure that we are connecting with all the major entities to make sure we give you guys the right answers on these clips, and we have consensus on that. So thank you guys for all the hard work behind the scenes. And then, of course, the Foundation Fund for helping fund these stimulus programs to make sure we have funds to give back to our members. So thank you so much, NISOA Foundation Fund there. And then, of course, gear sponsored by OSI. I've got my beautiful buttonless top polo here today. So if you're looking for some new gear for this fall, please check out OSI. They have some new things up as well. And then, of course, May is Huntington's Disease Awareness Month. I've got my sweatbands here. You can also purchase those for OSI as well. And Howard had his blue shirt on to support as well. So check those out online. Next week's topic was going to be violent behavior, but the NCAA has requested we hold off on that, as they're still trying to work to finalize the language there on that. So instead, we'll be covering penalty area incidences, and it'll be the last week to learn and earn with the stimulus quiz. So please take a look, check it out. We'll be releasing that on Sunday evening. So check your inboxes for the link for that. Just a few reminders: don't hit the asterisk. Make sure you submit it only once and share it with your peers. It takes a lot of work behind the scenes to make things like this happen. So please make sure we're sharing with as many members as possible. And if you weren't aware, I know we only went over 3 clips today and you guys are hungry for more, which is great news. The full analysis can be found on NISOA.com. So please go there. You'll see every single clip about the quiz and every talking point and consideration there. So if you got any others wrong and you want to look at those, please check that full analysis out. It is out there on the web for you to continue to learn. And of course, we want to continue to engage you guys with education programs that inspire members to make you guys reach higher every day in every game. So thanks for showing up. Thanks for being committed to a better version of you. And without further ado, we've got a really exciting friend who's going to come join us for the announcing of the winners. So if you could please, there's Leland Grant.
That's right, everybody. It's time for this week's NISOA Stimulus Winners! Week 7! First, I'd like to thank Tori and Lance and Howard for having me on. N stands for NISOA, and that's what N stands for. Okay, let's do this week's winners. First place from NWYSIOA, New York, John Netter. Second place from EP&D, ISOA, Pennsylvania, Greg Oswald. Third place, Michael Light II from Lehigh Valley, ISOA, Pennsylvania. Fourth place, Steve Baum, also from WNYISOA, Western New York. Fifth place, guess from where? WNYS NISOA, New York, Ashley Cedro. Sixth place, Gloria Resendez from North Texas ISOA. That's in Texas. Seventh place, Rolando Rosales Barrenechea from RWISO, also in New York. New York killing it. That's because you're staying home, sheltering in place. Speaking of places, how about eighth place, Brian McCormick from SFISOA in Florida. Ninth place, Todd Simpson from San Gabriel, ISOA. That's in California. Almost need a key change here. Finally, in 10th place, William Delgado from Tri-County, ISOA, California. Hey, NISOA, just stay at home so you'll be safe and can referee. When the fall comes, we will need more people, but no fourth officials until the finals. Hey guys, thanks so much. Hope that was good for a laugh. See you next week for week 8.
And there were our winners for our top 10. And those of you that may not have known, Leland Grant was on The Voice. So we had a contestant there for Showcase. So thank you so much, Leland, for that work. Howard, thank you so much for joining us. I cannot thank you enough. I'm sure it was a busy week for you, so taking the time out to help us all learn and grow for the good of the game. Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Leland, what a character. But yeah, really good. Thanks. I've really enjoyed it, and keep up the great work on here with this, supporting your officials, making them better at what they do. I love being a part of the officiating family, and I love when something like this is put together, which makes us all better. So keep up the great work, Tori.
Thank you very much, Howard. All right, take care. See you guys next week.